everyone. Welcome to another episode of Shoes Off Inside with Elihu, Tamlyn, Tamita, and Maylee. How is everyone doing? I should say Happy New Year because we actually haven't done a show since the new year. How's everyone?
Happy New Year.
I know.
Happy New Year.
And then Lunar New Year is coming up, but we're going to talk about that later in the show. So we'll save that for later. But Kelly, you're in New York again. Shooting.
I am at yet a different location. I'm such a nomad.
You hippie,
The glamorous
girl.
life.
Yeah, yeah. So you're shooting.
Oh, not so glamorous if you see where I am right now.
And Tamlyn,
it's all spoken verse.
we're gonna talk about what you're doing, Kelly. But we have to mention Tamlyn's the cutest freaking hat I've ever seen.
Oh, I wish it was a hat, but it's in conjunction with Lunar New Year. It is the year of the rabbit, and also in Vietnamese culture, year of the cat. So a throwback to where we come from, remembering the song by Al Stewart and his album called Year of the Cat.
Don't bother asking for explanation. She'll just tell you that she came in the year of the cat.
So in honor of that, this is the Year of the Cat, Year of the Rabbit. So this is my makeup hair band.
Well, it's freaking
cute. It's a little jolt of cuteness in the morning.
It's so clean looking.
Yeah.
I know.
I just have to say,
it is.
if that was mine, it would be all stained and like torn and like, yeah.
Yeah, and in
I
Japanese,
do have a black one as well, but I figured
my
the white
God.
one shows up a little better.
and of course
So
in
cute.
Japanese you say, "Ah, kawaii desu ne."
Kawaii!
Oh my God. All right. Well, you know what?
新年おめでとうございます。はい、どうもありがとう。
Yeah, I have rabbit slippers on.
Oh,
Aren't these cute?
they're so
I know.
cute.
I wish I was home. I would be grabbing my rabbit ears. I made rabbit ears
Oh, you
for Halloween. Oh well.
Well, anyway, so Kelly, you are in New York because you're still shooting. We can say the show right now.
I'm shooting East New York.
East New York.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm shooting a few episodes of a show called East New York with Jimmy Smits, who is
amazing.
The loveliest.
Is
oh
he?
my God.
Is he a nice guy? Please tell me
sweet.
he's a nice guy.
Such a nice guy.
Aw.
Such a gentleman.
Oh,
Like the
good.
kind of guy who runs ahead of you to open the door. You know, when you have to like put your jacket on in between scenes, he like helps you put your jacket on. I mean, that kind of
Oh.
guy.
A real gentleman.
Oh,
Yay.
That's great.
They don't exist anymore, do they?
No,
Like
they
young-
do.
They do. They do.
They don't do that thing.
They
No,
do.
okay. I'll
They
tell
do.
you.
Dating too
Okay,
young.
no, I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story about my
Sorry.
partner. He is a gentleman. He really is. He's kind of old school. And one day we were coming out of a restaurant, and he was parked right in front. So he opened the door for me, my door, right? And these guys were standing outside, going, "Yo, wow, that's so old school. That's they noticed, right?" And he's like,
Wait,
"Well,
how old were those guys?
they were a little younger. They were a little younger, but they noticed, and so they were surprised that he was opening the door for me. And he's like, "Well, that's how you do
Wow.
it, you know." And they're like, "Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool, you know." So they do exist, but it is not as prevalent. I think that's why these guys noticed and thought it was unusual. So yeah. So Jimmy
That's
Smits is old
interesting.
school. That's nice to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just a nice guy, you know, a gentleman.
Yeah. Good.
And that's always a compliment that should be, should be
Absolutely.
supported and sounded out. So
I
good,
know.
good.
You know,
for him to be calling it
I
out.
remember a point where women were getting so, how do you say, like on the deep end of feminism, that they would get upset if a man would open the door for them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is wrong with these women? Like,
Tamlyn,
they are
look at her
ruining it
face.
for us.
Yeah, don't you remember
Yeah.
that, Tamlyn? There was kind of like this upswing and going overboard with the PC-ness and the women's lib and independence thing.
Yeah.
I remember that. I do, and I think I was living in New York at the time, so it was kind of bad. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
I agree. I agree. I think it with any shift, with any change, it does swing to the other side of the pendulum rather fast, and usually it always finds its balance.
Yeah.
So I think when women find it that men insist upon opening the door, that's when it gets excuse me, frog in my throat, starts to get into the way. But if he happens to make it in time, it's like, oh, thank you very much, because again, I'm going to assume that he would do it for older folks as well, male or female.
Yeah.
So that's, it's a give and take. Yeah. So again, it's just trying to find equality and to also accept when I open the door for the man. So I think that's where we're trying to find ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. But it is a nice thing, I think. I don't take offense to it,
Wait,
certainly.
you guys have been with your significant others for a long time. Do they still open the car door for you?
Yes, especially
Tamlyn.
when we're dressed up, especially or last night in the rain. Just to make sure that I'm not, don't step into a puddle. He'll race around and make sure that I don't step into the rain, even though I'm just wearing rain boots or something. My love always. Yeah, he usually does. I'm lucky. Yeah, I'm lucky to have him, but I think also again to resound out. I think it's more common than than I think we're discussing. I think I'd like to assume more positivity is out there, and that we encourage it. So thank goodness for those young fellows to call out your love, to say, oh wow, this old school man is cool.
Yeah. I think for a little while, like you were saying, Kelly, I think for a little while, guys got scared to actually do that because women were saying, I don't need that. You don't need to do that for me. So I think there was a little bit of hesitancy for a little while. But now I think there is an embrace of, what's civilized. Right? Here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
What is civilized? We have to get back to civility, and we've lost so much civility in society these days because of clearly politics and division, all that. So I think that's something that can get us back to just being kind and affectionate and loving.
You know what I did today, and I've actually been doing this quite often, because with all of my traveling, right? So today I actually had to take a train, and I had a suitcase, like a carry-on, and how you have to put it up on the rack like when you're flying.
Yeah.
And I do this a lot when I'm flying. I can struggle and do it myself, but if I see a guy around, I will always ask
for help.
Because here I tell you why. Because A, I don't want to hurt myself, but also B, because I feel like it makes them feel good about themselves and feel sort of strong and masculine. And why not give that to them?
Yeah.
Right? If they can help you,
they're helping you
and do something nice for you, that's also good karma for them.
Yeah.
Right?
This is true. Yeah.
And it's such an easy thing to ask.
Yeah.
And every single person except today, where the guy was actually, I realized later that he was littler than I was and a bit older too. So he complained about how heavy it was. And I was like, that's not even heavy.
Wow. Yeah.
But I was like, thank you.
No, I'm always appreciative.
Just to resound, to echo back, I think it's important to be able to ask for help. And I think that is something that across the board, that people, because it's more efficient if a big strong person, not just only limiting it to guys, big strong person is able to shove the suitcase up on top because they're taller and bigger and stronger. I would assume it's more efficient, but it's the asking for help, to be able to ask for help, because
I have no problem asking for help.
Yeah,
I have no problem with that.
I think a lot of people don't.
Yeah,
they're not comfortable. So
Yeah.
I think
I like if there's shelves, things on high shelves in the grocery store, I always ask a tall person. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm
men or women.
I'm so petite that I always have to ask for help when it comes to reaching for something. So that's no problem to me at all. But asking, you
or
know
also
what?
I'll climb up the shelves like a monkey.
Yeah, that's what I do too. I totally do that. But Tamlyn, you brought up a really good point, and I watched an animated film that was recently came out based on a book called The Boy, the Mole, oh God, the fox and the horse. It's a well-known
Yes,
British author.
I heard about this.
I posted about it because it was so moving. It made me completely cry like a baby, and apparently it made a lot of people cry. But this animated film is all about love and kindness and asking for help. And this one line, and I'm gonna fuck it up, I'm sure, but it kind of goes like this:
What's the bravest thing you've ever said?
Help. Asking for help isn't giving up. It's refusing to give up.
So I was like, wow, that is so
I'm
powerful.
gonna keep going. Yeah.
Because help is often seen as negative, right? If you're asking for help, it means you're weak and you're at the end of your rope, or you're in such darkness. But actually, when you're asking for help, you're asking, I want to keep going. I need help, and so it shouldn't be seen as a weakness. It shouldn't be seen as something to be embarrassed about. But I think in Asian culture, especially, we're taught not to ask for help. We're taught to kind of do it ourselves and grin and bear it. I think that's something that's really important to start becoming more aware of, is like, let's all ask for more help, because we need it sometimes, let's put pride aside, let's put ego aside, and, admit that we need help. I'm guilty of not doing that very often, because I think I come from that traditional old school Asian sort of, behavior. And that's not a good thing. I just don't, I think it's really unhealthy.
I
think it also is good for relationships to be able to ask for help from one another whenever you need it. Because I think that's when we lack the most, right? In asking for help. Yeah. You always think, oh, well, it's faster if I just do it myself, or it's, if I do it myself, it'll just, if he does it, if I have to wait for him to do it, then, it's never going to get done, right. Or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think that working with one another and asking for help and actually doing it when somebody asks you for help right away, like making it a priority, makes the other person understand how important they are to you.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Exactly.
For sure.
How teamwork is important. It's I think we're all touching upon key points. It's like asking for help is deemed something as a sign of weakness, whereas it's the individual perhaps cannot do it by him or herself. And asking for help is a collaborative exercise in building a team, in building a community, in building an organized way of doing things. Yep. It also asks us to invest time to teaching this person how to do it. Because if I was a control freak, this is the way I make spaghetti. I can't have you in the kitchen. But it would be, a partnership, a team, to say, oh, I could add a little bit of, this spice, or take out that, and it becomes something all brand new. And
Kelly's like, no, no.
Seriously, right now my chest is closing up because you're saying all this stuff, and I'm like, oh no! Don't you touch my spaghetti? You're just fucking up my sauce right now.
But you own your spaghetti. But then the new spaghetti with the partner in the kitchen, it could be something new, and you can have those two choices. So it's just widening the pool of possibilities.
Yeah.
And again, asking for help is, we do have to get over that shame of not being able to do it ourselves, because it is ego things like, rats, I'm getting older, I'm not quick enough, I'm not fast enough, I don't remember. So it's again trying to let go and let in, your brother, your sister, your love, your mother.
Do you remember when we had
letting your mother into your kitchen?
Yeah.
So it's all kinds.
Actually,
balls of fun.
I would never interfere with my mother in the kitchen because she's like the best cook. But having said that, Dr. Jenny Wang, when we had her on the show at the end of last year, she was talking about the whole idea of shame and how we have to let go of that. But shame is an emotion, and a weapon that is often used in Asian culture, right? And it keeps us from doing things or being expressive or being vulnerable and all of that. So I think that all is connected for sure. the shame, asking for help. It's considered shameful. But I have learned now, and I always tell young people now, God, just don't fucking think you can do it all. You know, if you need the help, just ask for it. You know, you're not invincible. And I thought I was. Of course, I thought I was when I was younger, and I thought I knew best, right? I thought I knew everything, and that's how most young people act, right? If we only knew what we know now earlier, yeah, right.
Earlier,
Yeah, we would do things a little bit differently. Well, speaking of getting older and aging and all of that stuff, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we want to do the show, is to really be sort of much more open and raw and honest about, you know, our life experiences, especially as women, especially as Asian women, and what that has meant to us, and, you know, how we've lived our lives up to this point, but how we want to move forward. And we got to talk about the Golden Globes. This is all connected. Stay with me, everyone. Stay with me. The Golden Globes, of course, just happened. And it was amazing because, of course, Michelle Yeoh won for Best Actress, which we kind of knew was going to happen, but, you know, it did. And Ke Huy Quan won for Best Supporting Actor. I know. And so during the Golden Globes, even though has been shrouded in controversy in the past, right, because of the lack of representation when it comes to Golden Globe members, this year the speeches and the winners were incredible because of what the messages that they were putting out there, particularly about getting older and feeling at times during their career that they were becoming irrelevant. And they were, you know, they were not being seen as anything but their age instead of their capability. Even Michelle Yeoh said that in a recent interview. And for them to then stand up there with that statue in hand and being, you know, awarded for their achievement at that age. Michelle Yeoh is 60, right? Jennifer Coolidge, who won for White Lotus, she also alluded to that, is that, you know, the parts weren't coming and she thought that, you know, her days were numbered. And Ke Huy Quan, of course, because he was a child actor and then he quit for 40 years because he couldn't get work. Yeah. And so I just thought, wow, look at these people who are really being so open and honest about, you know, how they were feeling like they were done, but then to be given the chance. Right? I thought that was really compelling. I thought it was powerful. And I could relate. I could totally relate to what they were saying. I don't know how you guys felt about all of that.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, you know, as actors, I think we suffer from that as well. However, you know, I guess there are some of us who still get to act in, you know, well past, you know, whatever we thought our expiration date was going to be. I have not had a better career than now. I mean, I feel like there's so much great stuff that is just falling out of the sky for me. Now at 54, you know, these opportunities were not happening when I was in my 30s. I mean, sure, there were some, but I literally, before the whole pandemic, I was contemplating like retirement, thinking, okay, so I've saved up enough money and this is how much I need to live. And I was like calculating and whatnot. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll go, you know, join my parents in Vegas and you know, sort of have a semi-retirement at least. But then once we started working again, because I also thought that the pandemic was going to hurt my career. I thought that everything that I had up until then was going to lose its momentum. And then for somebody like my age to be starting up, trying to grind up that, you know, those jobs again, I thought it was going to be an uphill battle. As it turned out, it's been amazing. And, you know, it's just, you never know. Yeah. You never know what's going to be around the corner.
Yeah.
It's funny how life works out that way for so many of us in whatever age group we find. the minute we've heard so many times, the minute you let go, another door opens and a flood of opportunities come. It's karma, it's fate, it's chance, a lot of luck. But as long as you're willing to be open to it and be settled with whatever choice you do make, because again, hearing you, Kelly Hu, saying that you were contemplating semi-retirement, is like, what? Why? But then when you did, it felt like you were settled with that decision. And then boom, pandemic comes, but then post-pandemic, here we are,
Yeah.
and you're busy as all get out. So that's that can happen. It's not going to guarantee that always happens with everybody, but it's
No.
nice to hear that it's happened to you.
Yeah.
The idea about irrelevancy, I think that's what May was talking about, as we get older, is something that we just have to be attuned to. But because of technology, but because of these kinds of platforms, we do have a wealth and breadth of experience, that when we do enter these arenas of conversation, we are in essence competing with younger folks who are much more facile, who are much more at ease with talking to each other to make sure that the microphones and the Wi-Fi, blah, 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 etc. work. But in terms of life experience, I think that's what younger folks, especially with the depth of information that is available to them at a click of a button, they go, oh, wow, what about that cute guy on Goonies? I mean, whatever happened to him? Or what's going to happen to the guy from Home Alone? Or what's going to happen? What's happened to, Gina Lollobrigida, who just passed away? She was, she was considered the most beautiful woman in the world. She passed away. The fact that Miss Universe is half Filipina. It's like, oh, wow, has there been any other Asian woman who is crowned Miss Universe? It's like, this is the kind of depth of information that's available to younger folks. And we're living proof of this. We're living proof of the testament and the experience that we've attained up to this point, and we're able to share it. So it's the widening of our worlds of experience, young and older. It's just an exchange, and we have to keep it in constant flow and constant motion, with a little nod to, I have gray hairs, we have gray hairs, but I can dye it back and fucking look as gorgeous as you 30-year-old. So let's go at it. It's all in fun. It's all in fun.
That's totally true, though. You're just speaking the truth.
Yeah.
No, I was watching this CBS This Morning piece that was done last week before the Golden Globes on Michelle Yeoh. And she was being so raw and vulnerable during this interview, talking about what she's been through. She's been in this industry for decades, like 40 plus decades, right? And she thought, I still have so much more that I want to do. I still want to be challenged. I still know that I can give back, and I have that capability. And I just felt like there was, it was sort of time was going by and nobody was giving me the chance. And so that really resonated with me, because I'm not doing this show because I want to be famous or make a shit ton of money. I mean, it would be nice, of course, sure. I'm not saying no, but at the same time, I hope people understand that when you reach a certain stage of your life, not everyone, but those of us who have a soul, we want to do something that's purposeful, right? We want to do something that's meaningful, that takes all of our life experiences and uses it in a meaningful way. And so when Michelle was saying that, I know it's not because she wants to be more famous. She's famous enough, but it's because she knows she has more to offer the world, right? With her talent. And so that really resonated with me, because I'm like, I know I still have so much more fire and so much more that I want to do. Just give us a chance. And so that's why I bring this up for you guys also, because I feel like sometimes society is a little bit too youth obsessed and the new shiny thing, instead of looking at, people who have the world of experience and the life experience that needs to be shared. I wish there was a little bit more balance. Maybe we're seeing that. Maybe the Golden Globes should give us hope that, at least media in Hollywood is starting to appreciate, those who are beyond, the youthful years. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think they are. As actors, we're always going to have roles that require you to be older. I think also we're at such a great time because there are so many more outlets, right? It's not just the three networks, or maybe 3.5 networks that had like TV series going on. Now there's so much more castings out there, for so many more shows, and so many more outlets for us, like these podcasts, right? These didn't even exist, decades ago. I think there's a lot more ways that you can find relevance, and not just depend on other people to dictate how relevant you are.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I think for me and Kelly, because we're the actors in this little circle, it's to see persons like, well, especially because she is the focus right now. I think we can all, I would bet, I'll wager, and I think the two of you would also wager, that Michelle is probably going to win the Academy Award for Best Actress.
I hope so.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much in the bag, because of the skill set that required of her to portray how many zillion characters there was in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and to also display the range that she is capable of, and not just limit it to her Chineseness, her martial arts skills, which was utilized quite effectively, but her depth of humanity as a mother figure, as a wife figure, as a lover,
as an immigrant,
lovers across. It's I think that's demonstrating, it's demonstrative of her skill set, and that's, I think, really is a testament to her desire to do so much more, because that's pretty much a slice of what she's able to do. But what we expect her to do, it's like, oh, it's another martial arts thing. To see her in Shang-Chi, she's of course the mother of Shang-Chi. And then to see her future projects, it's like, I want to see her more as a flawed human. To see her as the mother in Crazy Rich Asians, and what an imperious mother figure she was, that is something it touched me more, because I expect her to kick ass. I expect her to beat everybody up, but I want to see her more to her artistic ability, to her artistic desire to display a lot more of the human range of emotion.
But it's pretty maybe not. I was about to say it's pretty surprising. No, it isn't. She got this chance to showcase her depth.
Yeah.
At 60, right? Even though she's had this long career, decades-long career, right? So better late than never, sure. And I hope she gets more roles where you're saying, Tamlyn, where she gets to showcase everything that she's capable of doing. But it just goes to show
look at the writer the writer creators. There were two young guys.
Exactly.
So it's again putting hope in the possibilities coming up from the younger folks. It's like, yes, we're absolutely more adept and adaptable to doing more than you think we can.
Right.
I think that's what.
I do have to mention, though, in her speech, not for the Golden Globes, but for the Golden Globes, she had mentioned something about coming to the United States and then all of a sudden being noticed as a minority. They're like, but you're Asian. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, well, welcome to America and being American Asian. Like, we've been dealing with that our entire career, but she didn't even discover that until she came to America and tried to work.
Right.
She was always working in Asia. And even she wasn't working here in the United States, she always had opportunities in Asia to be working as an actress, and nobody would question her ethnicity, right? But I thought that it was kind of funny that she would mention her lack of roles here in the United States, and being Asian American or being Asian, because I'm like, this is what Tamlyn and I have been dealing with our entire lives,
right? Because
our
she was
entire
not
careers.
She was not a minority, in Hong Kong, right? That it just didn't even faze her. It's like when I teach students at USC who come from Asia and they don't understand the concept of Asian hate.
Of
right?
being a minority.
Being a minority. They're like,
Well,
what is...
I also didn't understand that, though. Coming from
That's right.
Hawaii,
Coming from
right.
Hawaii.
you're also the majority,
Of
right?
course, of
Asian
course.
people, when I was growing up, were the majority. And so coming to the mainland for the first time and then meeting people who are very sort of militant about, Asian power and trying to get, Asians, more recognized and all of these things, I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, right.
Like, I had no clue,
Right.
because I never felt that I was ever a minority. I never felt the racism. I never understood that it existed, that it truly existed in like a deeper level than just somebody not wanting to serve you at a restaurant.
Right. Versus me, who grew up in Ohio, as a kid, and so I was faced with it, from day one. So
From day one,
two totally different experiences, right? So for people to think that we all are the same and we have all the same experiences, like it's completely false. The diversity in just our, API community is so vast. So let me ask you guys this then. It is 2023, obviously, and it's the new year, even though, what is it? Today, when we're recording, it's January 16th, just so people know.
Happy Martin Luther King Day.
Happy MLK Day, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, MLK Day, yes.
Yeah. And so, do you guys do resolutions of any kind or set goals or anything like that with the new year?
I stopped.
Is it because you didn't keep them?
I never have. Yeah, I never have. It was like, what? Why should we just make a promise to ourselves at the top of the year? It's like we should be trying to improve ourselves every chance we get,
Yes,
do our best.
I stopped too, because I thought that was just meaningless. But you know what I decided to do this year? I decided to just at least set intentions, right? And maybe that's a euphemism, but I don't think so. So here are my intentions. I realized that after the last couple of years of chaos, right, that we've all been through, I want more peace in my life, right? And so that, I know that's a very general statement. So I'm like, okay, how do I achieve that? And so I said, I need to really pay attention to what my core values are. And I need to stick with focusing on those core values and not allowing things to distract me, right? Because if I don't have a foundation of core values, then of course all of the things that are, chaotic and crazy, both good and bad, are going to distract me. So my core values being love, right? Relationships, being kind to myself, and then being purposeful, really purposeful, instead of being distracted by, oh, I want that, I want this, oh, why can't I be like that? I need to stick with the purpose that I've set out for myself. And I feel like that comes for me from God. So those are the things that I want to try to keep intact so that I can have more peace. Am I as successful at right now? It's only 16 days into the new year. I'm not sure. I can't answer that, but
yeah. How does one practice being purposeful specifically?
Yeah, I mean, for me, okay, so what I do that I do every day, every morning, is I pray, and that, to me, it sets my day with intention, right? So I'm very purposeful with my prayers. And then I really do, this is what I've started doing. I get so distracted and so frustrated and angry sometimes about every little thing that happens. And that's something that's not great. That I then, when that happens, when I feel that coming on, I just come back to, okay, May, what is your purpose? Why are you here? Why are you doing what you do? Right? And when I try to focus on that, it becomes very clear, right? I care about, telling stories. I care about empowering women and girls. I care about, trying to create, more education and intelligence in people. So I try to bring myself to those few things that matter rather than trying to, solve the world's problems. I try to stay true to what I believe in. Easier said than done, you guys. I'm not saying that I've mastered it, but yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah. I just to be purposeful, to be of purpose, to be of service, to practice purposeful, to practice being purposeful.
Yeah.
Also requires you to be receiving. So I just want to reflect back to you that what you're doing, that how you asked Kelly and I to participate in this chat, in this, circle of womanhood is a wonderful thing, and that you're on a path of being purposeful, and to accept that and to say, this is where we're at today, and this is where I'm fine with, and to find peace and contentment in today. And then whatever happens tomorrow, and how we look back in the past in our beta phase, that was all purposeful. That was all for your growth. That's all for our growth. This is, me trying to be of purpose for you too. And it's it's circular. It's just not always focusing on what we can be, what we can give, what we can do, but also to receive, to give thanks, to be seeded, not to just plant seeds in others, but to be seeded.
You're
to
totally
allow
making me
the
cry,
seeds to grow up,
Tamlyn.
to grow in you, in us. So yeah,
You're
it's
making me cry, seriously.
again, it's the circle of life. It really is. So just to really be mindful. We're all in this conversation about self-care. Self-care just meaning to sit back and say, dude, you're doing so much. And yes, agreed, it's not happening as fast as enough, or as big enough, or as glamorous enough, but it's enough today, because this is all we're guaranteed. Just to know that you're doing what you can with the intention of that first prayer, and that's a private prayer between you and the higher being. It's like, I intend to do this, and that's all I'm requiring myself to do, but also to be open to the gifts that you're going to give me, and from wherever it comes from. If you hear from a girl, if you hear from a woman, if you hear from an older person, male, female, non-binary, to say, thank you for what you're doing. It's like, just accept that, and to, just let that plant that beautiful little seed in yourself.
You're totally making me cry, because that's exactly what I needed to hear. Because you know why? Because I think sometimes I feel like I'm pushing a rock up a hill by myself. And I think a lot of people feel this way. So I'm not going to just say it's just me, but and it's exhausting. And so you're so right. Sometimes we don't allow ourselves to receive that love and kindness and support, and it's all around me. I know that, but I think sometimes I block it out, thinking I have to be the one continuing to push this rock up the hill, or else it's not gonna, it's gonna crush everyone. Yeah. So thank you so much for saying that. I'm all totally choked up right now. Yeah, I do. I totally appreciate that. Yeah, that's why. That's why this is beautiful. I want more of this for everyone. This kind of bond and sisterhood and support that we all need, because we all go through so much, sometimes silently and sometimes by ourselves, because we want to be strong.
And sometimes really publicly as well. It's like, I think I'm just reflecting to you too, because being a journalist, and this time last year, our other friend, Michelle Yeoh in St. Louis, the Korean American anchor, shared with her audience in St. Louis, Missouri, about how she celebrates New Year's Korean American style.
Eating dumplings.
And she got bashed.
Yep.
And she got the hashtag Very Asian going on about being American and Asian enough to say, this is part of my heritage.
Right.
This is a part of my background. And the fact that St. Louis is going to celebrate hashtag Very Asian Day, I believe.
A year after. Yeah.
a year after.
She took
So,
something
again,
so negative
Okay,
and totally
goodness.
flipped the script and
yeah,
made it into
writing a
something
children's
really
book,
positive.
cookbook.
Yeah.
So you do what you need to do, and it will, it will. This is the, this is the going. This is the going. The going gets tough, as they say, but this is the going. So just to, also take it. Also, the going requires taking. So take it in.
Yes.
Take it in.
Thank you for that reminder. Seriously.
Yeah.
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 Thank you. Oh, gosh.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
All right. Let me just wipe away my tears right
Okay.
now.
Oh,
I know. Okay. So those are my intentions, and we were talking about that. But I know that I put out a request to all of our followers to see, okay, do you guys have goals or resolutions that you want to follow this year? And some people wrote in. So here's, this is one of my former students. She's so cute. Ronnie. She said, I'm feeling optimistic about this year. Hopefully we will enter a post-pandemic era after summer. And then she said, goals, financial literacy. That's a good one. Because I think women need to be much more financially literate. I want to do a show on that, actually, and get like a financial expert to come on the show. Create a mini passion project and get published. And here's the cutest part. So Ronnie's probably like 23 or something. Travel with grandmas. It's time for them to enjoy life. How sweet is that? So cute. And then she said, other thoughts about 2023. There's been a huge discussion about the diverse lineup of at Coachella.
oh yes, because Blackpink is their Saturday night,
Oh,
which
that's
is
right.
like usually the big night.
Okay.
I don't know why I know this, but I do.
Are you going?
No, I bought tickets last year and I had to give them away because, I bought them in 2020. And then, of course, they canceled. So then they just kind of rolled them over into the next available Coachella, which was, this last 2022. And so, of course, I was in Atlanta shooting BMF, so I couldn't go. So I gave my tickets away to somebody else. But by the way, you guys, this last Coachella, I gave 2 tickets to a friend of mine. He kept one for himself and he was trying to sell the other one. They couldn't even sell the tickets. No one wanted to go to Coachella last year.
Wait, what?
I don't know what that was about.
Really?
I thought
You
they
know
were so hard to get.
My nieces and nephews did not want to go last year.
He could not even sell the second ticket.
Was it a COVID fear? Or, I mean, I thought
I
Coachella
think
was like the
people did
hottest
not
ticket.
like the lineup.
Oh.
I think it was more that people didn't like the lineup.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
think that's what it was.
Okay.
And maybe some people were still not comfortable with going out, even though it's like an outdoor festival. But then again, you are crammed into like these tiny little spaces
Totally.
sometimes in these tents.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I haven't
but
been to
yeah,
Coachella.
but
I've never gone.
this year's Blackpink, so that could be fun.
Then I'm sure they're going to get a pretty big audience to go to that. Okay, so that's Ronnie's. So somebody named Faber2761. I want to meet Kelly and spend the whole day with her. That's this person's goal.
Okay.
Okay. Drake 108.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I know, it's sweet. Just take it in, Kelly. Just take it in.
I don't want to take it in.
Okay, hoping to get in the best shape of my life this year. I want to get a lot physically stronger and add some muscle. Okay, that's usually a resolution of a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And then another one, Kyle Bradford 9017. My resolutions include losing weight and gaining money. I find myself apprehensive about the new year. So I think people have mixed feelings about what the New Year's is in store for us. So those are some comments that people wrote in on. So thank you very much for your comments. Now, because we're talking about 2023, but we also have to talk about Lunar New Year, of course. And that starts January 22nd. So coming right up. This is, if we're going by the Chinese New Year calendar and the Chinese zodiac signs, like Tamlyn, you just said, in Vietnam, it's the year of the cat, right?
Which in Chinese, we don't have cat. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And the Koreans follow the Chinese zodiac. So this year is the Chinese year of the black water rabbit. Okay.
Correct.
So
Black water, is that what you said?
it's black water rabbit.
rabbit.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Okay, so according to Chinese astrology, black is the color that represents self-awareness, career mastery, and release. Whether this means taking time off work to travel, receiving a promotion, learning a new trade, or starting your own business is immaterial. 2023 is a wonderful year to find your purpose in life.
Oh, hello.
Yes.
Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah,
ding,
interesting.
ding,
Well, I know
ding.
when I read that, or when I was putting this together, I was like, oh, okay, so that's speaking to me. 2023 is also ruled by the water element. Water energy is contemplative, calm, and relaxing. Like 2022, this year presents a fabulous opportunity to slow down and reflect on what is truly important. Water years call us to practice surrender and radical acceptance. I like that. Yeah, right? So Tamlyn, you are a rabbit, right?
I am a rabbit. I am a rabbit.
Okay,
Yes,
so
water rabbit. I don't know if it was black water rabbit. Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, I
But
will be. Yeah.
But you're a water
1963.
rabbit, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it says 2023 for the rabbit is a good year to give birth. It is a water rabbit year. In Chinese astrology, water means longevity and peace. Okay, maybe not literally give birth. Longevity and peace.
You could give birth to like a
other
project,
things.
A project,
right?
Yeah, okay.
Something creative.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So
Exactly.
rabbit is a symbol of vigilance, wittiness, cautiousness, deftness, and self-protection. People born in the year of the water rabbit are predicted to enjoy good fortune and have a peaceful mind throughout their lives.
Ooh, nice.
Right?
The little that I had clicked onto about the year of the water rabbit, it's resilience, fluidity, and balance. Because last year was the year of the tiger, next year is the year of the dragon. So those are two really
Intense.
fierce,
Yeah.
powerful elements, and everybody thinks, "Oh, the rabbit's so cute," or "The cat is so cute." But in terms of regaining a sense of purpose, I think that's what people can find in terms of balance. It's to find and regain that resetting, I guess, is another word that is apt to apply to the year of the rabbit. Is to reset your goals, to relook at what's important, exactly what you said, and to really kind of focus in on what your intentions are. So it's coming round circle as to what you're describing here.
Right.
And again, about water, all I keep thinking about is, in the words of Bruce Lee, be water, my friend.
Oh my
Water.
God,
Be
I just said
consistent.
that quote yesterday.
Really? Yeah.
Yes.
I
Be
know.
consistent, be constant, be ever present, and know that you are
I
always
love that.
changeable. You can
Yeah.
be steam, you could be mist, you could be water, you could be ice, you could stay in a frozen state, you can float, you can flow. It's all that matters. And just as for those in San Francisco, or for those who are going to venture to San Francisco, go take a look at the Bruce Lee exhibit at the Chinese Historical Society, which is, I think, which opened in April 2022 and will go on till April 2025. Daniel and I and a
good.
really
So we
good
have some
friend from
time.
Hawaii, a really good friend from Hawaii went up to San Francisco, and we were given a tour by the world's most expert collector of Bruce Lee paraphernalia, Jeff Chin. And he was able to give us a tour of that exhibit. So folks in San
Oh, wow.
Francisco, go see the Bruce Lee exhibit at the Chinese Historical Society.
And it's just sort of a retrospective of his whole life, or what?
It's a collection of his writings. It's not as extensive as the Bruce Lee exhibit that went on at the Wing Luke in Seattle, but it's a small, comprehensive display of posters, of paraphernalia, of writings, and other things that are important to Bruce Lee and his legacy. And it's a really great exhibit, and it's in conjunction with Shannon Lee and the Bruce Lee Foundation, because I think there are items from the Bruce Lee Foundation that she donated or is lending.
I had Shannon on the show like a year ago when she came out with the book Be Water. And the book was amazing because it just shows how deep Bruce Lee's like sort of philosophical thinking and you know,
right.
I mean, really, and he was a
It's
beautiful
beyond
writer.
just martial arts.
No.
This guy is
Way
a philosopher.
beyond. Philosopher and such a beautiful
Yes.
writer. Really. I mean, he was very insightful, thoughtful, and he was prolific at writing. So that's why they have so much material, right? But he's again, like people need to dig into who he was because he wasn't just some kung fu guy, you know, like most people think he was.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good tip. Okay, that exhibit sounds really fascinating. Great. Okay. So that's you, Tamlyn, and so now, Kelly, you're a monkey. You're a monkey, right?
I am a monkey.
The monkey natives this year. Okay, this is your host. The monkey natives this year, and it didn't surprise me that you're a monkey. When you told me you're a monkey, I'm like, of course she's a monkey. Okay, the monkey natives this year will enjoy a peaceful, blessed, and happy period. You are willing to make life-altering changes, which will yield great results. In your love life, your bond with your beloved will improve, if you have one, and you will get to know more about each other. The single monkey natives are not ready to fall in love, must not push themselves. That's interesting because you said that. The right person will walk in at the right time. After a challenging period of downfalls in career, your career will finally start to take flight this year. Focus on achieving your goals and keep moving in the right direction. The victory will be yours. To achieve financial stability, you will have to practice patience and mindfulness. Take care of your health as minor illnesses might bother you this year.
Oh, am I going to get COVID?
No, don't say that. No, it's minor. It's minor. Okay. Does that sound
minor?
Does that sound accurate?
I mean, for
well,
most
this
people.
is your horoscope, so. And monkeys are supposed to be obviously playful, vivacious, mischievous, creative.
Creative. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Super creative.
That would be Kelly. Okay. So I'm a horse. I'm a fire horse, which only happens every 60 years. And I always tell this story. Back in the day, back in Asia long ago, people didn't want to have girls during the year of the fire horse. So the birth rate dropped dramatically because fire horses are ambitious, they're headstrong. Think of a horse. They need to run free. So nobody wanted daughters because they were hard to marry off. Ding, 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 ding. Who has never been married? Mei Lee. Okay, anyway. Okay, so this is my horoscope. The horse natives can enjoy a rigorous life if they remain positive this year. The year of the water rabbit is promising a romantic time with your spouse. I don't have a spouse. Which will strengthen your bond. The single natives might also find true love. Career-wise, you might face difficulties initially, but eventually things will start to fall back into place and you will see progress in your career. As for your financial life, some months will bring abundance while others might bring loss. You're advised to spend mindfully and save enough money for difficult days. In terms of health, you need to remain extra careful this year. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a warning. Anyway, look, we all, of course, we take this all with a grain of salt, but I will say, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, I really do feel like the Chinese zodiac and descriptions of the characters, I think they're pretty accurate. I don't know about you.
I think so. For me, anyway, they've been, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because I'm textbook fire horse, so.
So textbook, so fire horse, and also because the year 66 is double. I think that's the other application that I've heard. It's like if you're born in 66, 77, 88, 5544. Those traits are doubled because the years. Yeah. So again, so 66, if I've heard, is like it's the traits are magnified.
Tamlyn, you just gave my age away. I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. Yes, I'm 56, going to be 57 in a couple months. Yeah.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's interesting. I never knew that.
Don't grimace when you say that.
Yeah.
You made a face. Don't grimace when you say that. Be happy about turning 57.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah, healthy.
Honestly, that's why I wanted to have that talk about the age thing, because I think we do sometimes get so wrapped up in that number and like years passing and all that. But, you know, to be honest, I feel really good. I have felt good throughout my 50s, like better
Right?
than I did in my 30s or 40s. And I'm not
I
just
love my
saying that.
50s.
Me
Yeah.
too. It's like I just
Yeah.
feel physically, mentally, spiritually, certainly, like everything is working, and it makes sense. Like, I don't know. It's just it's a good decade.
Well,
Mhm,
you say this because also you haven't been through menopause.
No, not yet. Which
That's why the brain is still working.
Okay. Can we just talk about that for a second? Because we are planning on doing a series of episodes on women's health, and one of
Yes.
them being
I think
menopause, right? For
Sure.
after a certain age. Now here's the truth, and now this might be TMI, but I don't fucking care. So you're saying I haven't gone through menopause. You are correct, and that's a little bit late. Like I'm about to turn 57, I haven't gone through menopause. However, I think I'm starting to enter perimenopause. I think that's finally happening.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, when you start forgetting things and like the world seems really foggy, that's when you know you're in perimenopause.
Okay, well,
Or you're standing in front of the refrigerator and going, ha, ha,
I
ha. I mean, that is
hot
such
flashes.
a stereotypical trait, but
It's
it's
true,
true.
isn't it? Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
I
Yeah,
don't have
it's
any
right.
of that, but the
Yeah.
forgetfulness, like I like will go into a room and I'll be like, why am I here? So I
Oh, I
have
do
that.
that every day.
Yeah. Okay. I already have that, but it's the other stuff that's like sort of the standard stuff that I am still not going through yet. But I think
Oh,
it's
okay.
starting. And so I think it'd be really interesting to do this series because I kind of want to know like what's coming up. And I know, Kelly, you've said that you have this fantastic doctor who knows
I
all
do.
about like menopause and like, hormone
She wrote a book
replacement
called
and all.
Sheology. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think that's something that we all need to talk about much more openly and honestly,
Mhm.
so that we can help
Mhm.
not only women who are going through it, but also younger women who need to know what to expect, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely. And by the way, we also need to talk about it because no one else does.
Exactly.
Everybody talks about it like it's forbidden and it's shameful to
Yeah.
be going through menopause, but it's not.
It's not.
We're all at our, peak career-wise, life-wise. I mean, it's not as though it means your life is coming to an end. And it
Yeah.
certainly doesn't mean your sex life is coming to an end.
Yeah. Yes. No comment. Yeah, exactly. But I think that's all so worth talking about because of what we know and what we don't know, and most of us don't know a lot, right? So I think it'd be great to like dig into that, and then
Yeah,
just share
learning how to talk about it.
exactly
Learning how to talk
learning
about
how
it.
to
And
talk
just
about it.
having, those kinds of doubts and insecurities and saying, this is what I think. What do you guys think? And it's, again, receiving support and, feedback
Yeah,
and ideas as to what to do, how to do, or, why we should do this and that. That's,
right.
I think it's really helpful.
And I think also this is why it's so important to have other female friends
Yes.
that are older or your age who are going through it so that you can ask your friends, is this normal? Is this happening to you too?
Exactly.
Because if it's not spoken about, then you're living in this world of like mystery and fear. And you're like, is something wrong with me? I literally went to the doctor thinking I might have the beginnings of Alzheimer's because my brain was just not working right.
Oh my God. So it's just the typical menopausal brain fog, right?
Laughed at me.
Yeah.
And she said, you're not having Alzheimer's. It's just menopause.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So full circle moment. So it's about asking for help, right? Asking for help so that you become more informed, more educated. And so, you can move forward with, more knowledge and, the ability to keep going, put one step in front of the other. So yeah,
Knowing that you're not alone.
Exactly.
Knowing that you're not alone. Yeah.
exactly.
Yes,
But
that's so
Tamlyn, you
important.
made me cry in this episode. But thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah.
People, it's so meaningful, when you hear that from somebody you respect and you're close to, but like, it's just, that is the power of friendship and especially female friendships and that bond that we all have. I love that there's that deeper understanding.
That's right. Support
yeah.
your sister.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the sisterhood, man.
Support your
Got to
sister.
have that
Yeah.
sisterhood. So,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh. Okay, well, I think we've come to the end of this particular episode where we decided we just wanted to chat about some important
Perfect.
things that we cared about.
Yay.
So,
Yeah. It was
but
perfect.
yeah,
It was perfect.
it was. So, we will end the episode now, but everyone, Happy New Year. And
Happy New Year.
we will
Happy
see
New
you
Year
again.
twice.
I know.
Gong
Happy
hee
New
fa
Year
choi.
twice. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
gong hee fa
Happy
choi,
Lunar
yeah.
New Year. And remember, you got to take your shoes off inside and just have a chat with your girlfriends and your friends, once in a while, to maintain those relationships. So, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.